Salutations, subliminal messengers. It's Automatic for Automatic Games bringing you the final installment of Friends in High Places. Just one of many series I've uploaded using Battlefield 1. In our last episode, Clyde Blackburn was arrested for impersonating George Rackham. He was ferried to London aboard a dreadnought, where he awaits his court-martial.
Off to the farm, are you?
I'm going to speak up for you, at the court-martial. It might do you some
I doubt
good.
it, but thanks.
Wilson, with me, I need a gunner.
Over here! I'll do it! Rackham, let me help!
You don't deserve to fly.
Wilson! If I'm gonna die up there.
Come on, let's do this.
You sure you don't want to sit this one out?
Not a chance. You owe me a bloody medal.
And so, Clyde and Wilson take to the skies aboard a Bristol to fend off this German air raid, spearheaded by the Fokker triplanes.
You with me? Of course I'm bloody with you!
Now, there were many air raids over the British Isles during World War I, most notoriously conducted by airships who could fly at a very high altitude. They conducted their raids at night. And yeah, they'd do bombing runs. As far as the damage or the casualties inflicted by these Zeppelin bombing runs, they paled in comparison to what we'd think of with World War II and the Blitz. However, they did have a psychological impact, and that was the Kaiser's intent, although it was kind of undermined and maybe backfired a little bit because it sure rallied the British people, rallied them further against the Germans.
6 o'clock, we have to change.
Now, as I've mentioned earlier, Zeppelins, they weren't that easy to shoot down, early in the war anyway. So when they did these bombing raids, they could conduct them with relative impunity. Being able to maintain a course at about 27,000 feet made it difficult for fighter planes to engage them. Some planes would stall out trying to get to that altitude, and those that could get on level with a Zeppelin were, of course, engaged by all the deck guns that the Zeppelins boasted.
Bring on the metal!
Ah, shit.
Bombers incoming!
So here comes the Gotha bombers.
The bombers are the threat.
We'll try to put down as many of these as possible, and of course they're escorted by additional triplanes.
I'm gonna max the throttle and dive so the gunners can't hit us. Hold on!
And at the rear end of this formation, we will see Zeppelins. So
Landed on us.
I'm kind of excited about that because I've been a Zeppelin fanatic all my life. You know, whether we're talking about the Graf Zeppelin or the Hindenburg,
Position on us.
or, even straying from the German airships, the British had some very large ones as well. The R-100 and its sister ship, the R-101. The 101 met with a pretty nasty fate, but those ships come to mind as the epitome of luxury and just really impressive airships. If you want to know more about them, look them up on YouTube or Google them, especially the R-101. Then you can kind of find out what happened to it. And as far as the United States, I'm from Ohio, so the Shenandoah comes to mind because it crashed here. But I want to say it was an early Zeppelin for us. The Shenandoah and the Los Angeles, which was its sister ship, And the interesting thing about the Los Angeles is it was kind of a petri dish testing ship for an aircraft carrier, which our later two Zeppelins, what were they, the Akron and the Macon, they were aircraft carriers. So, I mean, your little biplane would fly up to it, latch onto it, and an elevator would take it up into the Zeppelin. So, pretty impressive technology for the time period at which this was happening.
Thundering in. Good job.
And in fact, kind of a crazy fact is that Zeppelins are coming back around the world. There's the Zeppelin company itself has designs for them. I think there's one that's been launched in Japan. So in our lifetimes, we may see the reemergence of Zeppelins. Of course, they're kind of pointless when we have double-decker airliners, you know. But as far as a pleasure cruise, they'd be interesting.
You did say you wanted a medal, didn't you?
At any rate, as far as comforts are concerned, we're going to attempt to deprive these German airship crews of any comforts they might be enjoying, ideally sending them crashing to the ground in a ball of flame. And they're opening up with their flak guns. Oh, damn. Okay, for all intents and purposes, an explosion like that would spell death for a Zeppelin, but it's especially one filled with hydrogen gas. And it's kind of amazing that we would produce those kind of results on our first strafing run. Of course, realism aside, we'll just fire rockets at it too.
He's taking damage.
Yeah, but even with incendiary ammo, they don't necessarily light up that easily. I think of SL-11. That was the first Zeppelin over Great Britain to be taken down by incendiary ammo. And the pilot that pulled off that feat, William Leaf Robinson was his name. He was awarded the Victoria Cross and gained great national acclaim for his deed. Anyhow, they had spotted SL-11, and that's the first one that went down due to the incendiary ammo. LZ-37 went down prior to that. It was taken down by a bombing run. The plane actually got up above it and dropped bombs on it, but we're talking about incendiary ammo and SL-11. And Robinson basically got a visual of it. He went in on a strafing run using incendiaries, and it produced little effect. And he went in for a second strafe, and again, very little effect. And all the while, the Zeppelin's guns are opening up on him. He's on his last ammunition drum and goes in for one more shot. And by a stroke of luck, he sees a faint glow in the tail of the Zeppelin. Moments later, the entire thing goes up, crashes to the ground, killing its commander and its entire crew. I say entire crew, but Zeppelin crews, they generally had about 15, 16 crew members, some as many as 30, but I'm not sure as far as the SL-11. In SL, that stands for shoot lands, which was one of the two major companies producing these things. The other one was, of course, the Zeppelin company. Okay, we're in a cinematic, so something has happened, and what has happened is we are down. Not necessarily down, but we've crashed into the Zeppelin itself. Fortunately, the lightweight girders are actually keeping us up on top of the envelope.
You okay?
Oh, okay. We need to take out that flak gun.
And we're gonna go after the flak gun.
I've got your back.
This is kind of a precarious trip, I would think. Yeah, for gameplay's sake, we'll just say that we're walking on the steel girders, because you put enough weight on any particular section of this envelope, you'd plummet through. But, and in terms of these air raids, you're only seeing 2 Zeppelins here. There might be more in the distance. Generally, they'd send, half a dozen or a dozen. The largest one, I want to say it had 16, a fleet of 16 Zeppelins.
Gotta stay out here. Keep moving.
So they didn't necessarily travel alone,
That's the guy.
as you see with the multiplayer, where they fly super low. Oh damn. Well, that opened up, and we're going into the hole it opened up. And it appears that Blackburn's going to give us an interior tour of this particular Zeppelin.
Around to the flak gun.
Okay, I've got this. Man,
You can see the damaged water tanks. Water is what the Zeppelins used as ballast. You know, you let go of a little water, you're going to get some lift, either at the front end or the back end, whatever you needed to do to keep it steady and even, especially on those passenger liners. Nobody wanted to be walking around at an angle. So yeah, that's what the water tanks are for, or they're for that. This guy apparently is attempting to extinguish the fires, which is a yeoman's task. I mean, can't say that he'd really accomplished his goal. Not to say that they didn't have firefighting training. The crew members certainly did. Yeah, other than those ballast tanks, everything aboard these Zeppelins was relatively lightweight. Even the eating utensils were made out of pressed paper. There's a nice size hole in the envelope. These little tanks, probably drinking water. I'm not certain, but certainly kept separate from... and gunplay. And gunplay, you know, wouldn't necessarily light this thing up, but unless, of course, there was a massive hydrogen gas leak in one of the gas bags, which we can only presume there's several aboard this particular Zeppelin at this point. And we're not using an access ladder, we'll just go up this way, and there's our target. Knees down. We'll overtake his gun and exact some revenge on some of these folkers.
I'm a kid. My name's Clyde Blackburn. I'm a pilot. I'm a gambler. And I'm
You know, in reality, I wouldn't want to be on this airship any longer.
a stand-up kind of guy.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm a stand-up kind of guy.
Haha. Definitely firing incendiary ammo here. Taking fire from that gondola, but it's breaking loose. And she's fallen. Oh, man. Yeah, that harkens to the USS Shenandoah crash. That Zeppelin had broken in half, and its control car, its gondola, it broke loose and plummeted to the earth. Inside it Anyhow, I gotta finish my thought. Shenandoah, yeah, the control car broke loose. And the command staff, including Commander Lansdowne, they plummeted down to the earth and impacted in the yard of a farmer. Must have been a hell of a thing to wake up to. Of course they all died. That Zeppelin's going up. Oh, and it's getting hot. Now that's a very realistic time frame. You know, once you ignite that whole thing's wow is right. But I mean, what are you gonna do here? I'm glad they broke up the melee. That's kind of unnecessary at this point. And now they're rather like-minded. Did they just jump? Well, I guess the Zeppelin has lowered elevation and it's above a channel, but that's a playing card. Kind of a constant theme in this series.
And that's my story. A selfish man who risked his own life to save another. And in doing so, found he was saved himself. Things get mixed up in wartime, though, and you'll probably hear other versions. A rogue pilot who stole a plane, who killed his buddy, then lied, cheated, and murdered his way across half the Western Front, only to escape court-martial in the chaos of an air raid. But don't listen to any of that. What you heard from me is the truth. I wouldn't tell you if it wasn't. Would I?
Oh, Blackburn, you rogue. Anyhow, that'll do it for Friends in High Places. If you like this, as usual, I'm Automatic for Automatic Games. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll talk to you soon.